we have the agenda, and I would like to show you what is Alexa versus Echo. There are two terms that I already use here, and that need to be clarified. What is a skill? Skill components, different skill types, how we create the backend for the skill, and how to test it. And I was saying that I started to do some research. One of the research, during the research, I found this interesting graph. I don't know if you can read it, but the most important thing in this is that Amazon has this big part in green. It is still the leader. It's still the leader on the market. Okay, it's not as much powerful as it was. Google is coming from behind, it is shrinking the difference. But the important thing is that the Amazon users are the ones who use this device more than once per day, and they are using it mostly from their living room, and they are using also for other things than the ones I already mentioned, playing music, getting the weather, or getting the time. So this is interesting because people are already familiar with this. It's not like, okay, what is Alexa? Everybody knew what is Alexa. Then I found these stats from Tractica that were saying that in 2021, that means 2 years from now, 1.8 billion users will be having at least one device. Do you know what that means? Because right now, we are around 390 million. Do you see some similarities with some other markets that you already know? Smartphone market. So the smartphone market had a similar growth. In few years, got to the billion, right? So that means, okay, and this is about the home consumer. Also for the enterprise, we see that on the 2021, around 143 million people will use this in the enterprise. We see this in our company, in Cerner. We have a team that is already working, creating smart assistants, and they want to integrate it with, I don't know, Google Home or Alexa. They are building with Cortana, but right now, if you know, Cortana is not a smart assistant anymore, is a skill that can be used on top of Alexa, right? So again, those are meaning that right now, we are on the verge of something interesting, and there are some opportunities for every one of us to start learning how to develop Alexa skills and maybe try to get it on the market and make some money. Okay, I already mentioned Alexa and the Echo. There is a slight difference between them. Basically, when I'm referring to Alexa, I'm referring to the smart assistant that is designed by and created by Amazon, and it stays on the cloud. The Echo is the Echo family of devices which have an array of microphones, some LEDs, and a good speaker lately, right? So this device, Echo, has a small operating system and can run some code. He's always connected, always listening. He gets his smart thing by using Alexa service from the cloud. So when people are referring with Alexa, most of them are referring to the smart assistant which is going on the cloud. Echo is the device that we have on the room or whatever in the car lately, or I don't know, where else. And this one uses Alexa to provide you information, right? But not only Echo devices can use Alexa. Alexa can be an app, and we can install it on our smartphones. I already have it on my smartphone. And there are third-party smart speakers that are using Alexa. So not necessarily with Echo. Okay, I already talked about Alexa. In order to use Alexa, you need to have an app that will do something, right? This app is called Skill. By default, Alexa Smart Assistant has a lot of functionalities. He can tell you what's the weather. He can tell you, I don't know, who was born today. He can tell you a lot of things. But not all of them. There are specific group of functionality that they are not implemented by Amazon, and I think they don't want to do it. At this point in the Amazon market, there are around 80,000 skills or something like this. mostly developed for the English language with some versions for the other languages supported by Amazon. But nothing for Romanian, right? And I will say, okay, I want something for me. When I go into work, I lose every day around 1 hour because I have to drive my girls to school, then my wife to work, and then back to my work. What if I will have an Alexa skill, an app, that will give me the news? Since I'm a blogger, technology blogger, I need to hear the news first thing in the morning. What if I'll create something that will be personalized, something that is on my own, right? And I say, okay, I provide you, I don't know, RSS feed or Twitter feed or whatever, and he could read me that news. Okay, there are skills that can give you podcasts. There are skills that can give you personalized news, but on some outlets that I'm not interested. I want to do something for my own. So, in order for that, I need a skill. What is a skill? I already told you. The skill is an app that runs on top of the Alexa voice service, and that app gives you the logic to understand what you are telling to this Alexa voice service. All the communication between the skill and the Alexa voice service is JSON. JSON in, JSON out, and it's post. It's not get. It's just post, a JSON post. I will show you. Alexa skill logic. This is something that every Alexa developer needs to understand. And I want to do an analogy, right? Think about a smart kid, a new baby born. When he's in the womb of his mother, he hears noise. Everything is noise. Later on, he begins to understand that from that noise, somebody is speaking, right? Somebody is speaking. Later on, after he is born, he or she is born, he's beginning to understand that from that language that someone is speaking, there are some words, we call it words, right? That those are repeating. And he begins to understand, this is a word, it's saying, I don't know, chair, chair. Okay, and from all that noise, he understands that somebody is speaking, and this is the word, chair. Later on, he understands that when somebody is saying chair, he's referring to this, yeah, to something, to an object or for an action. He begins to understand that. And later on, he begins to react accordingly to what we are saying to the kid. The same thing is happening also with an Alexa skill. Because we have the noise. We have the device that's recording everything. And we have the noise. From that noise, using speech recognition, the Alexa voice service is able to understand and differentiate our language, speech, from everything that is noise. Then, later on, using machine learning, from that speech, the Alexa voice service is able to understand specific words and specific commands. And then, with natural language understanding, this service is able to understand what we mean with that words. And because this is AI in action and so on, the service is already able to understand slightly differences between how am I talking, how you are talking, and so on. Yeah? And then the service is able to, after he understands what we want from him, he's able to do a command and say, okay, this guy wants this, right? The beauty of this is that everything you see here is already automated and is done by Alexa. We don't have, by Amazon, sorry, with Alexa voice service. We don't have to do anything. It's there. And the best part is already done. The easiest part is on us. I already mentioned what Alexa can do. If you are using it, you know that with Alexa you can play music, you can automate things in your house to turn on the lights, turn on the music, control the vacuum cleaner, control your, I don't know, heating system, doors, check your calendar, check your flight, book your flight, take a recipe. A lot of things can be done, 80,000 skills. But from all of this, I'm sure that every one of you can find at least one thing that Alexa cannot do, and that is the opportunity for you guys to start learning and try to create something particular. But in order to do this, we need to understand what is the user interaction flow. This is the most basic thing that we as developers and the people who want to build an Alexa skill need to understand. And basically what is about. We have a user, that's me or you, who says something, gives a command, right? Alexa voice service is here. He's doing all the things that I showed you earlier and understands what I'm saying. And when he understands this, is creating a JSON post request to my skill that is on the backend, and my skill is acting accordingly if I programmed that to do that, right? After that, my skill is doing his job, then sends a JSON back, another post, to the Alexa voice service that will convert what we say to something that we as a user can understand, and that means voice, via the text-to-speech. First we have speech-to-text, and then when it's going back, we have text-to-speech. With this in mind, how to start to create our own skill? Basically, we need to have an idea, right? Next, as a developers, we need to say, okay, did someone else do something like this? Let's start research. And we do some research, and I recommend you to do the research. You'll find people that already did that, or not. Or if they did that, it was like a small portion of what we want. With this in mind, we can go further and try to see, okay, how my skill will be different from that one, or how my skill will be brand new, right? But there is a big but here. We all here are used to have graphical user interfaces, GUIs, right? And what is relevant for a GUI is linear. You cannot go most of the time from from start to the end without going through some other steps, right? But in case an Alexa skill, which is voice-driven, the user can say anything because he does not have an interaction. He cannot see, right? He say, okay, I want to do that. Okay, if you as a developer implemented that, will be fine. If not, it's not okay. So that means that when we create a skill, the interaction is non-linear. So we have to take care of that and be aware of that. Okay, next step will be like basically to create a script. Not a PowerShell script, but a movie script. Something like, Alexa, do something. And then we have to think, what Alexa will respond? He or she understand me or not? If he understands me, to provide a feedback. Okay, I understand you, I will do that. Okay, if not, to do something I did not understand. Please repeat the question, or something like this. More, it's important to give guidance. Okay, I'm Alexa, this is your skill, I can do this and this and this. You can ask me, open my door, or I don't know. In my case, I want to have a skill that will read personal use. And that will be, okay, I'm Alexa, I'm your skill, what can I do for you? You can say what is new in order for me to get the news, right? So we need to take care of this also. At this point, if we have a script and all those knowledge, we have an MVP. You know what is MVP, right? Minimum viable product. Yeah, we have something small that we can build on, which is very good. Then, it's the time to do the coding and start to do the implementation of the skill. And now we'll get the fun part, how to implement this. First, we need an Amazon developer account. This is free. Everyone here maybe has an Amazon account. Based on that one, you can create your developer account on Amazon website. Second, we need to go here on developeramazon.com/alexa/console/ask, and this is the basic and the place where you build basically your skill. Then we'll create the skill, select the name, language, and the model. And right now I'll show you this because it's more fun than hear me talking. So everything starts in here with Amazon Developer Services. We go with Alexa. And by the way, I said that I'm Windows Insider MVP for Microsoft, and I'm using the, yeah, sorry. And I'm using a Mac OS, right? Why is that? It's easy, because I do have dual boot on this one with Windows and Mac. But the Visual Studio for Mac OS, it's much smaller than the one for Windows, and I didn't have a lot of space on my drive. And besides that, if you've been able to attend the other session, especially for Rafael's session, he mentioned that from now on, everything that Microsoft will develop on the .NET will go to the .NET Core. So this is the perfect way for me to demonstrate that and try to create an app, an Alexa skill that will use .NET Core backend. And more, I will not use the Amazon support. I'll try to use an Azure function, which is basically the same thing. Why? Because I already have a subscription on that one, and I don't want to pay something else for Amazon. So we are here on the Amazon Alexa, and first thing, we need to create the Alexa skills. We go with Start Skill. I already have something. I'll go Create Skill. First thing, we need to have a name. This name should be relevant to your audience. This name is the name that people will use to find your skill on the Amazon App Store, right? So try to think a name that will be relevant and easy to remember. And if someone gets by chance on it, to be able to understand easily what this is about. I will say I will name this skill Demo Newsreader. I will select the language. As I told you, at this point, Romanian language is not supported, unfortunately, and I don't think that in the near future we'll have Romanian language. Maybe Google will do that first, but I don't think that Amazon will. So I'll go with Alexa. Then I need to create a model. My model can be a custom model or a flash briefing, smart home. That means a skill that will deal with all the smart appliances I have in my home. Something related to music, video, baby activity, or meetings. The easiest way to be is to go with the flash briefing and then provision on my own. And I say create skill, right? I'm creating the skill and voila. This was the template. And I have this error message when I need to customize. And that will be, I don't know, I'm sorry. Skill is not available. I could add my news feed in here. Let's say I'll take the feeds from the Windows 10, or no, let's say for the Windows Insider program. I'll take the RSS feed. I'll copy this one. I'm adding in here. Select a genre, which is technology. Give a preamble. That means in technology, let's say. Technology. Name, Windows Insider. We'll check it hourly, text. And I also, if I want, I can add an icon for this one. And at this point, if I'm adding this in here, I already have my first Alexa skill created. I will show you how it is. This one will go with the flash briefing. I will not publish it, it will take some time, but I'll show you. Alexa, what's my flash briefing?
Here's your news. In N. Hello, Windows Insiders. Today we are releasing Windows 10 Insider Preview Build 18912.
Stop. Okay.
28H1 to Windows.
So at this point, I create a basic skill. And that's it. You can go now, right? No, sorry, I'm just kidding. No, it's not okay. So this is the first thing for you guys to create an Alexa skill. It's easy and it's already there for the people to try it, right? The second part is this page. Okay, I'll delete this one. Yes. Also delete this one since I don't need it. Okay. The second one, the second option we have at this point is to go with the blueprints. Amazon understood that in order for people to get attracted by this platform and get traction for his product, is a need for people to easily implement skills. And for that, they create this huge collection of blueprints. What are the blueprints? Are basically templates, like we have for Word, for PowerPoint, for Excel, for whatever. Those are pre-built functionality skills where user can enter and just slightly modify the commands, the source for, I don't know, for the website, for a feed, or maybe add some custom images, custom music, whatever. Those are several categories. At home, we have a lot of blueprints here: learning and knowledge, fun and games, storyteller. This was one of my favorite, storyteller. I can create a story that will be played each night for my girls. When they go to sleep, I can say, okay, Alexa, start that skill, and there is a story that will be played. Unfortunately, it will be playing in English, so that was not an option for me at this point. But I'm still studying this one. Then we have greeting and occasion, communities and organization, and businesses. Those are the blueprints. But I don't want to do blueprints. I want to do something that will be personal and something that will be on my own. So I'll create a new skill. I use the same name, Demo Newsreader. Go with English. I will select a custom model that will give me the basic the basic functionality, and I will create this skill from scratch. And here is important. I need to select the backend. The backend is the place where my skill logic will reside. So what we have? We have provision my own. That means I can have it on my website, for example, or on Azure, or on Google, or whatever else. Or I can go with Alexa hosted. What's interesting with Alexa hosted is that Amazon is offering you free access for an AWS Lambda function for 5 gigs of media storage and 15 gigabytes of monthly data transfer. If you are familiar with Node.js, you can start implementing with this one. But as I said, I like to try new things, and lately I start learning C# since I'm using only PowerShell and JavaScript at home and in the office. And I say, why not? Let me do something that will be .NET Core related and will be C#. So I'll go with provision on my own. I create this skill, and boom. Also, there is a fourth screen when I'm asked to select the template. I don't want to select, I'll go the one from scratch. And I'm said choose. So here, what you see here, I don't know if everybody sees, is the Alexa Developer Console. When you create a skill, everything is doing in here, in this window. On the right side, in here, I am invited to enter the first really important parameter for my skill, and that means the invocation. What is invocation? The invocation is the command that will give to Alexa to do something. This one is not necessarily to be the same with your application, with your skill name, but it's important to be more relevant, if I can say that, more relevant. In my case, they say, okay, demo newsreader. Sounds good. It's a skill that will demo something and will read me some news. Cool. When we create the invocation name, we are allowed to use only small letters, and we can use 1, 2, or 3 words, whatever we want. But the idea is to be relevant for our skill. And here, you cannot register this invocation skill that you have, because maybe someone else is using on their skill the same invocation name. But this is not a problem, because if I did not install that skill, this invocation name is personal for my skill. Okay, could be situation when you have 2 skills that have the same invocation name. Okay, bad luck, whatever. But there are things in here that you cannot use it as words in the invocation name. And that means launch, ask, tell, open, load, begin, and so on. Those are registered words that Alexa is using to do something. They are predefined in the Alexa voice service, right? So in this case, I selected my invocation name. Okay. Then the second part that we need to do is to add an intent. This intent is really interesting. What is an intent? The intent is the basic functionality for your app. If my app is created to, let's say, read me the news, I will create an intent that will say last post intent, right? That will be an intent that will give me last post from a website. You can think of the intents as the main functionalities of your application / your skill. Yeah? So I need to do something here. And I will create a custom one. That will be called last posts intent. I can use whatever name I want in here, but it's important to be relevant and be able to debug and later on use it if I want to extend this skill. And I'll create this custom intent. Also, if you look here on the left side, there are built-in intents. That means Amazon cancel, help, stop, navigate, and fallback. If I want to, what is important with this one, they're already predefined, not because we want to use it, but because Amazon already implemented functionality for this one, and we can leverage that on our skills, right? So I create this intent. Perfect. I have a basic functionality. Give me the last post. But the next part, and this part is really tricky, is I need to add utterances. Everybody knows what utterance is? One people, two, three, okay. The utterance is the way I will use to ask my skill to do something, right? So I have the function. How do I invoke that function? By saying, what is new? Okay? I will say, what is new? What is new? I'm adding this. Perfect. So at this point, my skill will know that when I say what is new, to do something, to generate a post, a JSON post to my backend. But mostly it's not okay to have just one utterance. You need to have more. And the best way to do it is, how do you think is the best way to get the best utterances possible for your skill? For people to be able to invoke your skill and use it. It's easy. You talk with someone else, and I say, if I will say, how would you like to ask me to give you the latest news? And you say, okay, maybe what is the new? What are the latest news? What's new? What happened lately? Whatever. The best way is to talk to the others, talk to some other people, and try to understand from them how they will use this one. And try to imagine some scenarios. Okay, you will not be able to cover every possible scenario, but you will need to have something to start with. And if you have this, then later on your skill, you can offer feedback to the user in order for him to understand how to use this one, right? So let me add another two utterances here. What's new, and give me latest news. Perfect. So at this point, I have an intent that is called last post intent and some utterances. Now I can save my model. And if we take a look here, I just told you that everything that Alexa voice service and Alexa skill is doing is based on JSON. And here we have the JSON. I have the invocation name, you see it here, and I have my last post intent with some samples, right? What I can do right now is to build my model. Meanwhile, it's time to go and create the backend. I need to create a backend that will be an Azure function, and that this Azure function will get the RSS feed for my website, for example, and parse it, and then read the titles to me. Should be easy, right? So I'll go with, I will use, by the way, Visual Studio 2009 for Mac. I already told you that. And I say, new. I need to go to the other.net, this part here, and I already have here Azure functions. The best part with Azure function is that it has the same functionality like AWS Lambda, right? I don't have to take care what is on the back. I will just create my code, publish it there, and that's it. I don't need to do updates on the website. I don't need to take care of what version of .NET. I don't have to do this. I just publish my code there, and all the Azure will do, Microsoft basically will do everything for me. Okay, I will create the, I will give the name Azure Newsreader. And now it's time to select the template. I will go with anonymous. And I'm creating this one. The difference between Visual Studio for Mac and the one for Windows in terms of space is huge. So, and also in the terms of how fast it is. Okay, I already have in here a basic model for my Azure function. I don't need this. And also I don't need to have the get. I only use post, like I said. Okay. Good thing is that in order for me to interact with the JSON that Alexa voice will post it to my Azure function, I don't have to write all that code to deserialize and understand what is going on. It's already there. I just need to go and add two NuGet packages. One is alexa.net. It's already created. And this one will offer you the functionality you need in order to correctly use this JSON and parse the information from that JSON. It's already installed, right? I also want to have another NuGet that will be the one who will help me parse my RSS feed, not order for me to, again, write the code to parse it. It's already there. It's called Microsoft Syndication. Feed, reader, and writer. Okay? I'm also adding this package. Good. Now, let's see how I can leverage the part where alexa.net NuGet package will help me to achieve my goal. First thing, if you see here, I will define a string that is my JSON. I will read asynchronously this JSON. Then I will create a variable that is called skill request. That is the object I extracted from the JSON package. And then I will go and do the basic thing for my Alexa skill, and that will be to react when my request type will be launched. When I will launch my skill, something has to happen. As you see here, I create a response, and this response, it's say tell. Tell means go and work with Alexa voice service and instructor to tell something. And what is telling? Basic introduction text that will be welcome to whatever, right? So at this point, I have a basic skill. If I try to build it, I hope it works. Okay. IntelliSense in action. Perfect. I'm doing this. Still have some definition. Okay, another one more. And then perfect, be successful. What can I do now? I have two options. I have one option will be to start testing this because we are trying to model it and go step by step. And I possibly to go and publish it on Azure Function. But that will be not that smart from my side. Why do I want to publish all the time, waste time until it's published, until it's available, and so on? And I do have a workaround for this. And that workaround is I will build my app and start it locally, and I'll go and use one smart app that is called ngrok. Does everyone knows what's ngrok? Ngrok, it's an app that it works as a proxy for me and exposing what I have locally through a website and More than that, I can have it secured with HTTPS, which what I need when I'm building my Alexa skill. So what I will do next, I will do ngrok HTTP, and I say if you can see here, my app is running on localhost on port 7071 and on the API demo newsreader, right? So I need to say, okay, redirect my local port 7071 to something that is available on the internet. And I have this address. I'm just copying it. Then go back to my Alexa skill. The build was successful, so my model was already built. And I can go there, and I say, okay, what the endpoint should be like? AWS Lambda? No, I said I will go with my own. I'll go with HTTPS. I'm doing here. And I need to add the full URL. And I will select the type of the certificate. And that will be my development endpoint is a subdomain. At this point, I have 7 points. And if I did everything correctly at this point, I go and test. You can test it directly on the website. You don't need to have it on an Amazon device or the app on the smartphone in order to test it. You can do all the testing here. And I say development. And let's see. Open demo newsreader. Finger crossed. Something will happen or not.
Welcome to Newsreader Demo app. You can ask me to read the last titles by saying what is new. What you like me to do?
So I just built the basic functionality for my backend. Here on this part, you see the JSON that was sent by the Alexa voice kit to my app, to my backend. On the right side here, you can see the request. And this request had response type, that will be output speech, as plain text, and the text I just entered, right? So at this point, what I did, I just say, okay, what will happen when my Alexa skill will be launched? Something interesting. If you did not see yet, I'll stop this one in here. Go back a little bit. I said, you can ask me to read the last titles by saying what is new. I already provided the user a guidance in order for him to be able to use my app, right? So at this point, my Alexa skill started. Now it's time to do something else. Now it's time to say, okay, let's add the logic for me to understand the request type. Because until now, I added only the logic to react when the skill is launched. The next part will be to say, okay, to interpret what kind of the request type I have, intent request, and basically to understand when intent.name will be last post intent, which, if you remember, is the exact one I already created in here. Last post intent, right? So there will be a match between what I defined in my Alexa as a function and my backend will be able to understand it. It's time to go and see, okay, what I can do next. And I will say, for now, let's see, I will add a dummy information there. Now I'll read your articles. Please be patient. Okay, let me build this one. Let's see if it works. It works. We start this. My proxy is already up and running, so I don't have to do anything at this point. Already my endpoint is defined in here, so I don't need to save it. I just go there, and I open the app. Wait a little bit.
Welcome to Newsreader Demo app.
I have
You
the
can ask me
first
to read the
intent that
last
will be the
titles by
launch
saying what
intent
is
for
new.
my skill.
What you like me to do?
And if I will say what is new, what will happen?
Now I will read you the articles. Please
So
be patient.
I added the basic functionality for my first function, right? We are on the right track. Okay, going further. What can I do next? The next part will be to get my RSS feed, deserialize it, and make it available for Alexa to read it to me. So I will do and create a function, method, sorry. And this one will read my XML feed and will offer me as an object in the application. If I'm building this, okay, IntelliSense again. Okay. I'm so glad that IntelliSense works also on Mac. Good. Okay, it was built successful. Now it's time to enhance my logic for the last post intent. So I'll go and already take what I have coded, and I will explain what I did. So I'm defining an RSS as a string, where is the URL for my website. Then I will get the object news. Then I will create an output variable that is something that my skill will be able to read it to me, and that's say, okay, the Mobzine website has so many articles, and then I will go parse each of the titles I found, and I don't need this. I will play this response to the users. Control S, build, okay, I need to referentiate the link, build, and great. Build successful. Let's wait a little bit to start on my local box. Great. Going back in here, I will say open newsreader. Something interesting should happen now.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Exactly. And that was, I did not close my connection between the skill and the voice service. I should have closed it. He was staying, and I want to open it again, and it was not possible. Okay, that means I need to add some more error handling in it, but it's not the case at this point. So right now, I'll open again the skill.
Welcome to Newsreader demo app.
Perfect.
You can ask me to read the last titles
and
by
if I say what
new.
is new,
Would you like me to?
And then
The mobzine.ro website has 12 articles. Nokia 2.2 a fast presentat official. A new entry din familia Android 1 video. Camerata Samsung Galaxy Note 10
much
Nokia
more better
3.2
than I wanted to have until now.
Romania ZTE
But
Patentaza undesigned Chudo or Fasai Frontal Deferite Huawei May
But it's not
There was a
really
problem
useful,
with the
right?
requested skills response.
Correct. Two issues I need to fix now. So I have the RSS with all the articles, but he's reading some Romanian text in English. It's not okay. Is there something I could do in order to improve this? Polly can read Romanian or Romanian Italian. Yeah? You tried it? Okay, let's try to see if it works. So the idea is I can customize the response in order for the Alexa voice, Polly in this case, to be able to read my information in Romanian. I tried with Italian, I will go with Italian, but if we have time at the end, we'll try to Romanian, right? So if I will use Italian language to read something that is in Romanian, do you think it will work? It will be closer to what I need and try to work around this language limitation and market limitation? Maybe. In order to do that, I will use something that is called SSML. And that is Speech Synthesis Markup Language. It's a markup language that we can use inside of Alexa in order to customize how the Alexa speaks to us. And we have several tags in here. We can have an Amazon effect, we can have breaks and phases, but I'm interested in this one. And this one is, I can change the language. Let's test it. First, we have here the voice and tone, and I can use this one.
I want to tell you a secret. I am not a real human. Can you
Okay.
believe it?
Via this markup language, I could customize how Alexa is talking to me. If I will go and say, I paste this one, and it's using the French, but I don't want to have French. Let's have it and eat, and do say limba română.
In Paris, they pronounce it limba romana.
Okay, it was a little bit better than I wanted to have. So let's try to add this kind of markup language in the way I will use this in my skill. So for that, I need to change the code I have at this point. Going back here, stop this one, and do. Boom. I will add it in here. Response page. Respondent false. Okay. So what is different at this point? I created a speech variable that is the type SSML output speech. And inside of this one, I created a line under line in order for you guys to better understand. This is not the best coding, but it's okay for just demoing this. And I say, okay, I create the speak tag, then I will add a paragraph with information I have in that where. And for each title I need to be written, to be read by Alexa, I force the language to Italian. And then I close this tag and also the speak, and I send this one to the response builder. When I'm doing this, okay, Control S and build, something beautiful will happen, right? And that is, I'm going here, test it. First, I need to stop to be sure that the skill was stopped. Then newsreader. Boom, boom, boom. It works.
Welcome to Newsreader demo app. You can ask me to read the last titles by
And
the mobzine.ro website has 12 articles. Here are the titles read in limba italiana.
already
Nokia
did
due
the
virgola
switch.
due a fos presentato ufficial. Uno entry din familia Android 1. Video. Kumarata Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Nokia trade.
Okay, it's better. Yeah, it's much
There was
better
a
than the
problem
one I
with the
already have.
requested skills response.
And right now, if I'm already in here, I need to do something since this is bothering me. I need to add a logic for this that, okay, I will not do it now, I will do it later. But basically, what I have right now already improved my skill. The question is, am I able to do more? What? No, in the terms of me creating a skill that will read something back to me in Romanian. Open a specific news. What if I open that specific news and made Alexa to read it to me much more naturally in Romanian? Do you think it's possible? Yes, it is. I'll show you how. What if instead of my app reading directly the information from the website, what if I will use a third-party text-to-speech that is able, it's created for Romanian language and is able to do something. Let me try to take this one. I already did that, but since I have only 5 minutes, I will be faster a little bit. So I'll take I only take this part, I'll add it in here, and ask it to read.
Faptul că Nokia 2.2 face parte.
Okay, it's much more better. So I have the options to take all the text, add it in here, and download this on MP3. I have an audio file. What we'll do with that audio file? A lot I can do with that, because Um, because Alexa is able to offer me the options to add some source audio from a third-party website if it is HTTPS enabled. So in order to do that, I will just copy this part in here to save some time. So this is the if. I will create, let's create another intent, and that will be read article intent. And this read article intent should be the one that will do this for me. I'm copying this one. What I already did, I saved my file into this demo newsreader MP3 file. And in order for me to be able to use it inside the Alexa with the SSML language, I have to respect some restriction. One is should be less than 4 minutes, should be 48K, and should not have any tag inside it. Already create this MP3 file. I'll upload it on my website. And what I have to do now is just need to go and add another intent, and that intent will be read article intent. I'm creating this one in here, and read me last article as a utterance. I need to save the model and rebuild the model. Until this one will rebuild, I say that by doing this, I'm able to override almost all the restriction based on the language. And when it will be published, I will show you and you will see how it works. And I can go further since I only have 1 minute. And I say that I already published this one on my Azure account, since it will take some long time to do it. And if you want, I will just play it. Okay, build was successful. Let me test it and then go back to the presentation. Open demo newsreader.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Exactly. I did not start my app. The backend. Okay.
Welcome to Newsreader,
Okay.
the demo app. You can ask me to read the last titles by saying what is new. What you like me to do?
And
Următorul articol va fi citit în limba romană.
Faptul că Nokia 2.2 face parte din programul Android al celor de
okay. So what I already showed you it, how I managed to work around all the limitations that Amazon has for the Romania, and by doing that I show you how you are able to create your first skill. The next step you should do at this point is to go here and do the certification part. There is a tab there when you need to fill some extra information. But in order for you guys to use this as on your own devices, you don't have to do this, right? You need to go there and just use this application on your account. My time is up, so just a small summary. I just show you what is an Alexa, what is an Echo, what is a skill. I show you how to build skills. I'll show you how to work around the limitations we have. I'll show you what is an intent, what is an utterance, and what is an SSML language. And I'm asking for you to go and try it yourself. It's free. You don't need to use your Alexa device. Maybe if you know someone in US or in Germany, you can buy now because it's already on the discount, around 30 euros. And start exploring this, because if you can do this now, in the future when this will come in Romania officially, you'll be able to make money. This is basic.